Bodybuilders and gym junkies often push their bodies to the extreme, showing off insane feats of strength, muscle building, and becoming real-life giants. Now, while these muscle-bound monsters are kings inside the gym, their bulging muscles can make everyday tasks a little tricky. From attempting to sit on a single airline seat to busting out of suits, it's pretty hilarious to watch. Ready to see what happens when giants go out in public? Let's get started. Have you ever seen a hulking bodybuilder walk into a supermarket? It isn't easy for these big guys to walk around in public places, especially stores, because people often stare like they're looking at a freak show. But honestly, it's hard not to stare when these guys are built like they are. How can you look away when someone's entire body is in your line of sight? Imagine going to a store for some beans or veggies and you see someone looking like the Terminator. We bet you would be staring too. Check out what happens when this big, muscular jock tries to navigate his way onto a plane. With those wide shoulders and bulging muscles, it takes some pretty serious effort to make it down the narrow aisles of an airplane. Even regular people may have trouble with the confined spaces of an aircraft, so you can't help but feel sorry for the guy. You can even see people move out of the way so that our giant can twist that big frame of his to fit into that little seat. I bet he must have had one uncomfortable flight. Here is one hilarious video on safety for bodybuilders. Even though it is supposed to be demonstrating safety techniques, it certainly looks like the opposite is happening. Check out strongmen Brian Shore and Eddie Hall. Apparently, the competition requires them to wear these high-vis vests, and boy do they seem to be having the toughest time trying to get them on. Unfortunately, rules are rules, and they just have to get them on by hook or by crook.
Health and safety, you have to have it on, Brian.
At least they seem to be having a good laugh about their predicament.
Hey. He's gonna tear a pack.
There are people who look at bodybuilders as celebrities and go out of their way to find them. Sometimes fans can be quite intimidating and overenthusiastic. Just ask South Korean bodybuilder Youll, also known as the Asian Arnold Schwarzenegger. He gets mobbed every day by crazy fans trying to touch or grab his biceps. If being touched and groped wasn't enough, he is also bombarded with questions every day. When Youll walks down a street in Seoul, fans just can't control themselves. It's a little strange, but as long as he's enjoying the attention, we guess it's okay. The wide variety of sports cars on the market today is staggering, but if there's one thing they all have in common, it's how low to the ground they are. While they are built this way for speed, we imagine it can make the ride a bit uncomfortable, especially if you're on the bigger side. So how well do you think this giant is going to fit? It looks like he's able to get in the vehicle with no issues and even enjoys a cool ride. The trouble is he can't get out. It takes a lot of twisting and contorting to get this big guy out of his sweet ride. Maybe this could be used as an instructional video for other big guys interested in tiny cars. If you have bulging biceps and look like Mr. Universe, it must mean you're pretty strong, right? Wrong. Muscles don't always equal strength, so even gym rats and meatheads can have trouble with everyday tasks just like us. Take a look at this guy. He seems to be having a tough time with that water bottle. All his muscles can't help him open that little plastic lid. How embarrassing!
Oh, come on. Hey,
All that working out and you can't open a water bottle?
oh, come on. What's he? Sir, I think you got the wrong workout program.
He ought to ask for help. Come on, give it to buddy.
When it comes to clothing, being a muscular jock can have its downsides, which is why bodybuilders often stick to sportswear. While this may be due to their near constant training, we think comfort plays a large role in most weightlifters' clothing choices. But sometimes even bodybuilders have the urge to buy a suit, like this guy here. It seems he has no idea just how big he is and goes for a top that's just a bit too small. Once he tries it on, he seems to be really impressed and starts to admire himself. And if there's one thing bodybuilders love doing, it's looking at themselves in the mirror. Mr. Hunk might have done just a bit too much posing, however, because the coat splits open down his back. That's just plain awkward. All he can do is turn tail and run. Maybe he should consider something in a stretchier material next time. Who doesn't enjoy the thrill of riding around in a go-kart? It's the closest we amateurs can get to a Formula 1 race. But what happens when a bodybuilder wants to get in a kart? Unfortunately for all you hunks out there, karting isn't really for you, unless maybe you build a custom-made kart. The little cars on a normal track just aren't big enough, and even if a big guy does squeeze into one, there won't be space for anyone else. Just getting out of a small kart should make a bodybuilder question whether or not they should be getting into one in the first place. Strongmen and bodybuilders may be pros at pumping iron, but ask them to do something that requires more finesse, like horseback riding, and the results can be quite amusing. Check out professional bodybuilder Branch Warren showing off his horse riding skills while shooting a movie about bodybuilders. Notice this particularly awkward moment where he tries his best to stay on his unhappy steed. The horse starts bucking like a bronco and poor Branch's muscles can't even help him to hold on. That tumble is bound to have left a mark. We can't blame the horse though, he probably just didn't like the idea of carrying a heavy muscular man around on his back all day. While bodybuilders are often stereotyped as egotistical and vain, it's not often that you catch one in the act, especially in the middle of a supermarket. It's as if this guy can't help flexing his biceps and just doesn't care who's watching. He even takes off his shirt. Just look at him go. He's on a full-fledged flexing trip right now and seems to be giving the CCTV the full-on Mr. Universe treatment. But then he sees the shoppers approaching and flees the scene. So what gives? Would you want to see Hulk Hogan in a tutu? Probably not. Ballet dancers are known for their slender bodies and lean muscles, so a bulky bodybuilder in tights and a leotard twirling to Swan Lake sounds pretty awkward to watch. But take a look at these guys. They may be hulking beefcakes, but they look rather sweet as they try their best to gracefully spin and move. Of course, their dance moves can't compare to a professionally trained ballet dancer, but we have to give credit where it's due. They do seem to be making a big effort, and we applaud them for it. Which of these giants would you be most keen to see in person? Let us know in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel with notifications on to make sure you never miss out on future videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.